Okay guys, with the original trilogy, we always thought that this would be the swan song. Turns out that we were wrong. There's a lot more Star Wars, but let's go over Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Hey guys, I'm Rick. This is the show where we talk movies and TV, and because it's Star Wars week, it's my honor and privilege to talk about these movies that I grew up with, movies that I love, movies that children of all ages have come to know and love. Today we are doing Return of the Jedi, Episode 6 in the Star Wars trilogy, part of the original trilogy, and let's get into it. Return of the Jedi came out in 1983. It's also known as Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. It is the continuation of the Skywalker saga, and although it was the third film released, chronologically it is the sixth episode of currently 9. The film was directed by Richard Marquand, and it's from a screenplay from Lawrence Kasdan and George Lucas, from story characters created by Lucas. The film stars Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Billy D. Williams, Anthony Daniels, David Prowse, Kenny Baker, Peter Mayhew, and Frank Oz as Yoda. The movie is set 1 year after The Empire Strikes Back, and the Galactic Empire, under the direction of the Emperor, is constructing a second Death Star in order to crush the Rebel Alliance once and for all. Since the Emperor plans to personally oversee the final stages of its construction, the Rebel fleet launches a full-scale attack on the Death Star in order to prevent its completion and kill the Emperor, effectively bringing an end to his hold over the galaxy. Meanwhile, Luke Skywalker, who is now a Jedi Knight, struggles to bring his father back to the light side of the Force. The film was released in theaters on May 25, 1983, receiving positive reviews, although many felt that it did not match the cinematic heights of its predecessors. It grossed over $374 million during its initial theatrical run, becoming the highest grossing film of 1983. Through several revisions and re-releases, this has brought the film's total gross to $475 million. Fun fact, George Lucas's first choice to direct Return of the Jedi was Steven Spielberg, but due to their separate feuds with the Directors Guild of America, it had led to his being banned from directing the film. Lucas then approached David Lynch. Now, that would have been an interesting movie, but Lynch declined, saying that he had next door to zero interest. Well, that's his loss. So Lucas eventually chose Richard Marquand. Lucas was on set frequently, just as he was during the filming of The Empire Strikes Back, and he did operate the B camera on set for a few times, and it's rumored that he did some second unit work. Lucas praised Marquand as a very nice person who worked well with the actors. Marquand did note that Lucas kept a conspicuous presence on set, joking, "It's rather like trying to direct King Lear with Shakespeare himself in the room." Another fun fact that's widely known throughout the Star Wars community, it was originally titled Revenge of the Jedi. And a lot of Star Wars fans know that that change came very late in the game, as there's several one-sheet posters and items that were available that already had the Revenge printed and on its packaging. And yet another fun fact, Luke Skywalker was to have walked off alone and exhausted like a hero in a spaghetti western at the end of the movie. But according to Gary Kurtz, Lucas opted for a happier ending to encourage higher merchandise sales. The original theatrical version of Return of the Jedi was released on VHS and Laserdisc several times between 1986 and 1995. And they were followed by the special edition in the same formats between 1997 and 2000. On September 21, 2004, the original Star Wars trilogy was released in a box set on DVD, with the digital restoration and additional alterations made by Lucas. All three films of the trilogy were released individually on limited edition DVDs in 2006, with the unaltered versions included as bonus features. And there's also a Blu-ray disc version of all 6 Star Wars films from the original saga and the prequel trilogy released in 2011. And they did incorporate more small changes to Return of the Jedi, including making the Ewoks blink and having Vader yell no as he throws the Emperor down the Death Star shaft. Now, just like most people, I definitely prefer the Blu-ray picture and sound over the regular DVDs. I do like having both sets because you do get those unaltered versions. For the film as a whole, I would score Return of the Jedi a 3.25. That's a pretty good score for any movie. It's not as strong as Star Wars Episode 4 or Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. I do consider them superior movies, but this one's not that far behind in the grand scheme of things. Alright guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Tell me, what's your favorite Star Wars movie out of the original trilogy? What's your favorite one out of the sequel trilogy? And what's your favorite out of the prequel trilogy? And then what's your all-time favorite? Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. I got a lot of great content coming down the road, and because it's Star Wars week, so much more is coming up for that as well. Stay positive, stay blessed, and I'll see you soon.